Well, my family has been involved in the quarter horse, cutting horse business since, I guess, 1955. And I've shown cutting horses all over the country. And in about 1976, I was at Ardmore, Oklahoma, preparing for the biggest show of the year, the National Cutting Horse Futurity at Will Rogers Coliseum in Fort Worth, Texas. As I was saddling my horse one morning, I felt somebody tap me on the back and ask if they could introduce themselves to me. I said, certainly. I turned around and he said, Sonny, my name is Ian Tyson. The name rung a bell, but I couldn't place it. I was worrying about horses then. I wasn't thinking about music. And I asked, I said, what do you do? And he said, well, I write a few songs. And I said, name one. And he said, well, I wrote one called Someday Soon. Well, when he said that, I've always been a big Kingston Trio fan. For many, many years, I realized who he was. He had also written a huge hit called Four Strong Winds. He spent a lot of time in the early 60s in Greenwich Village in New York. Bob Dylan used to, Ian and his wife Sylvia were a duo, and they sang many songs together. And Bob Dylan would come and sleep on their floor, obviously before he became so famous. Several years later, I judged the cutting horse competition in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And as I was judging one day, and Ian was participating in the show, he said, I just recorded a new album. I know you like acoustic music, and I'll bring it to you tomorrow. And the name of the album was Old Corrals and Sagebrush. It was all acoustic music, non-electric, and he knew I would like it, and I did. In the past years, we live in Atlanta, Georgia, and I play music with the various and sundry individuals. And several of them were big Ian Tyson fans. And I told one of them, his name's Phil Rosenthal from New Jersey, I said, well, I know Ian Tyson, and I suspect he thought I was not being truthful with him. But last year he had occasion to be in California, and Ian was performing out there. So he went to the performance, and after the performance, Ian was sitting at a table down front signing autographs and so forth, and Phil went out and introduced himself and spoke with him a few minutes, and then he turned and started to walk out of the auditorium, and he wanted to ask him if he knew me, but he was afraid to. But he said he just changed his mind and said, oh well, I know you'll think I'm an idiot, but I'm going to go ask anyway. So there were other people there, but he said when I went back and asked him, I said, I've got a friend in Atlanta I play music with that says he knows you. And Ian said, what's his name? And he said, his name is Sonny Paxton. He said, Ian stopped. He said, I became the star of the show right there. All he wanted to do was ask about you, ask how you were doing, and he gave me his phone number and asked me to tell you to call him. As a matter of fact, the phone number is right here on my phone right now. I haven't called him yet. That's just my bad behavior, but I will, and I'm going to.